We're live, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you so much. At 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March 4th, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And originally tonight, we were going to have representatives from Mira, Costa here to help lead us in the pledge and cheer us on. And they're at the high school for Mira, Costa tonight. So with that, Janet, could you just stand up from the audience and lead us in the pledge? Everybody please rise. Face the flag.
Hand over your heart. I pledge
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done. Okay. Roll call.
Councilmember Franklin.
Here.
Councilmember Torrance.
Here.
Councilmember Sherillian.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lesser.
Here.
Mayor Howard.
Here. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So as I mentioned, it's Mira Costa tonight, so we don't have the cheerleaders here, but I look forward to them showing up. But it is a very fun and wonderful set of people we're going to recognize. And that is going to be the people who have been supporting the Single Mom Project. And I'm going to have Janet Jones come down and tell us a little bit about the Single Moms Project, and then we're going to be publicly thanking them all for what they have done for this organization and what that organization has done for so many. So Janet, if you could come down. There is no microphone up here. Is there? In the drawer. Hold on. Council, City Councilman, also IT. Cable man.
Yeah. I can't even turn
Yeah. Let's see.
Try that.
Hello?
Yep.
It works. All right.
Oh, jeez.
Magic. All right. Janet, we'll have you stand here where between the chairs and just tell us a few things about why we're here.
We are here tonight to thank the sponsors who have made my nonprofit, the Single Mom Project, a big success in a short amount of time. The Single Mom Project was founded just 4 years ago. The idea being to provide $1,000 grants to low-income, hardworking moms to help them get on steadier financial footing. The moms live just 10 or 11 minutes away from here at Hawthorne, Lawndale, Inglewood, Compton, and we have seen over these 4 years how this $1,000 grant can completely change a life, give confidence, let them buy the refrigerator that had broken down, let them repair a car so they can get to their job. And just from the get-go, the sponsors, many of whom are here tonight, are what made us like a locomotive moving forward. They saw and believed in what we were doing. They supported us financially and with great words and enthusiasm. And we are here tonight to say thank you so, so much for all you've done. I will say that all of our recipients who received the grants are from the Richstone Family Center, which provides an array of services to women undergoing domestic violence and domestic abuse. So I'd like to introduce the CEO of the Richstone Family Center, Roger Van Remmen, who has been instrumental in our success.
Let me just say the success is because of you. Thank you very much. I have to say, what this woman has done for single mothers in the South Bay and in the Hawthorne area is second to none. It's so impressive. And I mean, you know, for you to be honored tonight, and all of you who have supported it, you need to know how impressive this young lady has worked so hard to make this happen. And I guess we're going to have the supervisor here. I mean, you got the A-team today, I'll tell you. I'll tell you a little bit about Richstone very quickly. Richstone has been in the community now for 51 years. We're in Hawthorne, California. We started out serving 50 children the first year, and this last year, 3,400 children and families. We're all about providing therapy and prevention programs for child abuse, domestic violence, and trauma. And then we have this program here, and I would just want to give you an example of this program, which I think is really quite important. On our campus, we have an area that we do a charter school for RISE, and they come in and they rent the space. And I went in and sat in the class one day just to kind of observe it. And as I'm observing it, there's a lady sitting 2 doors down from me, kind of, I'm going to guess, in her mid-20s. And I figured that she also works for RISE. That really wasn't true. She, as you could guess, she was a student. And we started talking, and here was her story. And she said, yes, I'm a student. I want to get my high school education. And my goal is to get my high school education so I can get a college education. Because you have to understand, I'm a single mom. I work at night at McDonald's. During the day, I go to school to get my education. But I don't want my daughter to live the life I just lived. And I want to do that. And you know what? That's what it's all about. So you thank all of you that support her and her efforts, and this is the kind of success you get. Not all stories are this great, because there are people that they can't even make it to the next paycheck, and she's been there for them. So to you, on behalf of the staff, the board of directors, our clients, you are an angel to Richstone, and all of you that support. Thank you very much.
You're going to stay down here. You can still hear me, right? On behalf of the City Council, I want to recognize you as a sponsor. And I'm not sure if you've ever received one of our city pins. I saw the look on his face.
No, the past people wouldn't give it to me.
See?
I don't want to say anything bad about Napolitano.
Yes, you do. But thank you for those words and for your support. And like you say, I mean, it's one person who started something who has made a difference for all these women. And I just love it's micro-lending, it's hyper-local, and it's so powerful. Is our county supervisor, Holly Mitchell, on the line yet? I can do her last. Jesslyn Waldron is here, okay, from the supervisor's office, so we will do her last. Okay, so I would like, is Sandra Sanchez from Kinecta here? Come on down for your support. Okay. I'm going to have my Mayor Pro Tem help me here. Okay. And David Lee from Dunkin' Donuts. Is David here? Or somebody from Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, my God. There they are. You know their slogan. Well, Amy definitely runs on Dunkin'. Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you. Stay down here. We want you all down here. Okay. Is Pastor Douglas here from Trinity Lutheran? Okay, great. We have Mary Lenahan. Come on down. She's the president of their board. I have a couple different names here, so. Okay. And is Erin Fiorito here from, yes, she is. Come on down. From Torrance Memorial Medical Center. Here's Trinity Lutheran. Look at this. And Claire. All right, we have it here. I'm just going to move down here a little bit. From Gigi's Family Foundation, we have David Muckley, the executive director, Joanne Hunter, and is Mandy here? No. Mandy's not here, but Jim and Joanne. Jim, do you want to come down, or just Joanne? Come on down, Joanne and David.
Come on,
Joanne Hunter is another one of those folks who has touched so many people in our community and beyond. And I'm grateful that you came down tonight.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Look who's telling me that.
I try, but... okay, let's see. And is Heather Kim or anyone from Manhattan Beach Grocery here? I don't think she's here. Janet, do you want to just tell the folks what they did?
Absolutely. The Kim family, some of you may recall, were the owners of Manhattan Grocery until it closed. Well, their lease ran out at the end of December. And so they had to liquidate all the food within it. And they could have just left the food rot in the grocery store, but instead she called me on a Friday and she said, we have food, we'd like to give it to the Single Mom Project. Can you get your moms to our grocery store? So here she is. All
right. Heather, you can put your bag down, but we'd love to present you with a certificate, and your husband, too.
Yes.
We never get to see him.
I know.
Matthew. Okay. We'll line you up here, and then we're about to... Okay. And do you want to, David, where'd David go? To give Holly Mitchell's certificate to Justin Waldron. So Holly's not on yet, right? So Janet, do you want to, I know that the supervisor has been so supportive of this for so many years. Can you just say a little bit about how much her support has meant to your organization? It's important.
Of course. Supervisor Holly Mitchell has really made us who we are today. The minute she heard about it through Jesselyn, who I actually met right here at a city council meeting, she said, I believe in this. I believe that when you give small amounts of money to needy people, they will use it in the best way and they will get on their feet. So not only has she given us a very important grant, but every summer their office has given 5 scholarships so that 5 of our children can go to science camp at the California Science Center. So she is remarkable.
I have to apologize on behalf of Supervisor Holly Mitchell. She is currently asking the county executive officer budget questions right now. The Board of Supervisors meet on Tuesday, so her meeting ran over. She really wanted to be here. I know she's playing. I was just texting her assistant, like, the item was up now. Can we make it happen? But on behalf of Supervisor Mitchell, she thanks you so much, Janet. And thank you, Mayor Haworth, for this recognition, for the important work of Single Mom Project, and thanks for having us tonight.
Absolutely. Before you all step down, we're obviously going to do a picture because you're all so pretty, but also my colleague, Councilmember Joe Franklin, who's had a lot of interaction with this project, would like to say a few things.
Just briefly, thank Supervisor Holly Mitchell for the camp scholarships, but that presented a rather tough logical situation, getting those children safely to the camp and back. And right here is JB Burton, yeah, John, Jim, what do you like? Whoever you are. So come on down, because I went to him and he graciously donated the money for the transportation along with Russ Lesser.
Thank you so much for that. We don't have a certificate, but we will make one, Jim. We know that you're not doing it for that, but we will get you one. It takes a village to help everyone. And, all these efforts make ripples. So it's really, really great. And from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure my colleagues' heart, thank you. So now we're going to smile at people and get some pictures. Joe, everybody come on in. See if we can, we're going to look face front, center. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Did I give you something? Okay. Who needs cheerleaders to bring good cheer, right?
I have waited.
Thank you. I did not know that. That's wonderful. Okay.
That was great.
Yeah.
Great.
I just think it's a really great example of how you don't need to start huge You know, you don't need to say, I have $2 million or $100,000 or whatnot. You can change people's lives, so thank you. All right, colleagues. Mr. Burton. Colleagues, I need an approval of the agenda and a waiver of the full reading of ordinances. Been moved by Councilman Tarnay and seconded by Councilmember Shirley. Call for the question. Okay.
Motion
Great.
passes 5-0.
Great. Okay, so this stage is City Council and community announcements of upcoming events. These are the 1 minute per person announcements. So if there's anything, someone from the library, no one from the library here? Oh, good. Oh, phew. Okay.
Sorry.
No.
Awfully quick.
Josh is always up.
I know, he's out of town. Good evening. My name is Lauren Wubbles, and I'm here on behalf of the Manhattan Beach Library. We have two very special events coming up I'd like to share with you tonight. The first one is actually tomorrow, and it is for kids ages 8 and up. We are having best-selling author Adam Gidwitz come on his book tour. He's stopping at Manhattan Beach Library in partnership with Pages. So he'll be available to talk about his new book, Max and the Land of Lies, do Q&As, have a book signing for the kids, and photos as well. The second event is next Tuesday, and I know there's no city council meeting, so I better see you all there. It's an adult magic show featuring Alan Oshiro, who will defy us with his spellbinding magic, and there's even a levitation and live dance.
Oh.
Thank you for your time.
Why, thank you. Love our library. Okay. Yes. Hello.
Good evening, Mayor Howarth, esteemed council members. I'm Culture Arts Coordinator Andrew Boris. I'm here to invite the community to the Juneteenth listening session on this coming Saturday, March 8th, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Manhattan Beach Library Community Room. This event's going to be moderated by Janet Allen, and we invite the community to learn about the significance of Juneteenth and share ideas for the 2025 celebration. Attendees will enjoy conversation, share ideas for the celebration as we honor this important historical milestone. Please join us and bring your input. We look forward to seeing you there.
Great. Thank you, Andrew.
Good evening, Mayor Howarth, members of the City Council, Rachel Johnson, your police chief. Just to invite the community to our upcoming town hall, which is on April 2nd. The first hour of the town hall from 6 to 7 will be to celebrate the 45th anniversary of Neighborhood Watch and hold a Neighborhood Watch meeting. And the second hour will be our typical format of our first quarter town hall. So we invite the community to come and join us for that town hall on April 2nd. Our second item I want to invite the community to is occurring tomorrow at 6 p.m. It is our strategic planning, as part of our strategic planning process, we invite the community to come in and talk about what they would like to see from their police department. So come, there will at least be snacks. I will be there with bad jokes. Tomorrow, March 5th, in our community room from 6 to 7 p.m. We hope to see you at both of these events. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Chief. Hello, Libby.
Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Mayor Haworth, members of the City Council and community here in attendance and watching at home. We'd like to invite everyone to go online to our city website to find our budget survey. We'd like to hear your input on your budget priorities, and the survey will be up through the end of the month on March 31st. And then we'll be sharing the results publicly and with the City Council at a future meeting date. So we hope to have your input. Thank you.
Thank you. My husband said he was going to submit some things, so please watch out for those. You know. Okay, great.
Humble Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you for my swag. City Council members, city officials, Mr. Lee, my name is Bobby Bell. I am the WM rep, the WM recycling educator for the beautiful city of Manhattan Beach. Just a reminder, no batteries whatsoever can go into the landfill. We're struggling with that right now. If you have a school-age child, we have battery pickups and drop-offs at all of NBUSD schools. We have a battery collection upstairs here in City Hall. We have one over in Jocelyn Center. Computers, cell phones, iPads, things of that nature, we will take it all. You can go through at your door for that, or you can just call me. I'll come pick it up for you. Lithium batteries are our big spark makers right now, causing a lot of problems in trucks. People don't think it. We don't really have that big problem here, but in Los Angeles County we do with vape pens. A lot of people, they're done with them, they don't realize it's actually a lithium battery in there. They throw it in there, it goes into the truck, then everybody wonders why that truck's on fire. So no batteries can go inside our landfill, and that's all I got. Wishing you guys all a blessed evening.
May I have a question?
Yeah, of course, Joe.
Thank you. You're not going to get off that easy. So I have to dispose of our old cable box and things like that. We cut the cord, and there's extra equipment laying about that the cable company doesn't have any sort of pickup. What do we do with that?
At your door. At your door for electronics, because we don't want that going into the landfill either. There's wires and what have you in there that we don't want to seep into the ground. So at your door service, they'll pick it up. Also, in here in Manhattan Beach, Target is one of our greatest environmental companies.
Really?
If you, next time you're at Target, take a walk past the cash register, and you will see boxes for everything. From hangers to cameras to cell phones to plastic bags, everything.
Yeah.
Target's really on
Yeah,
board with that.
I take all my plastic film and bags there. And then, Joe, for what you're talking about, the at your door, for people at home in our viewing audience, you can get to it through the website, right, or just call.
Yeah, the 800 number or go
Right.
through WM Manhattan Beach.
Okay.
That's one WM Manhattan Beach?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, great, thank
Cool.
you. So so any batteries, not just lithium ion, because we want to avoid dumpster fires.
Yes.
Okay, correct.
We want to keep it out of our landfill.
Great, thank you.
You got it. Have a blessed
With Bobby Bell. Other community announcements? Online?
No request on Zoom.
Okay, so now public comments. Oh, wait, I have an announcement. Yes, thank you. So there's really a problem right now with the sea lions and other marine mammals with the domoic acid toxicosis. And at least 2 of them, I believe, have washed up on our beaches just recently. Here's the thing. Our animal control officer, Kate Anderson, she knows exactly what to do, but please do not approach any sea animal or mammal that you see on the beach. It's dangerous to you and to them. You know, for those of you who still are walking your dogs on the beach, don't do it, but also make sure your dogs don't approach these animals. It causes them stress, which makes them even more sick. This is a very serious condition. Even there's people going and taking selfies with like the stranded seal, which, you know, whatever. But we actually, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's a little stretched out here. There's symptoms, foaming at the mouth. It's just, you know, so sad and so stressful. But there's a phone number you can call, which is 1-800-39-WHALE. Or if you go to the marinemammalcare.org, up in PV or San Pedro, there's the Marine Mammal Care Center, and their job is to rescue all these animals. You can also reach out to the folks at the Roundhouse. But please, and I'm going to encourage our city to, on our social media, you know, please alert the public not to approach any beached or stranded sea mammals. Just, this is a problem, and it's gonna be happening a bit right now, and it has nothing to do with weather or the fires. Some people think the debris from the fires is causing us. That's not the case. There's just a bloom of algae for different reasons. So stay away. Public alert. Okay, thank you. All right, public comments. Come on down. You have 3 minutes, and speakers can provide public comments on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city.
Awesome. Good evening, Mayor Howarth and members of City Council. My name is Dana Taylor-Old. I am a former board president of the Manhattan Beach Hometown Fair and now a current board member. As the continuation of our 100% fee waiver is up for discussion tonight, I'd like to say a few words. 2025 will represent our 53rd annual Manhattan Beach Hometown Fair. As the city's largest legacy event, the Hometown Fair brings joy, memories, and hundreds of thousands of dollars to our community every October. Important to note, we're also a 20-member all-volunteered board. We operate, most importantly, on a net neutral basis. All revenue is put toward fair execution and civic engagement. We exist to serve the community and to provide 70-plus civic and booster orgs the opportunity to raise much-needed funds each year. We are rigorous with our expenses and are always looking to be as cost-effective as possible. From multiple vendor bids to new corporate donor programs, we are looking to balance financial viability with the hometown feel that we love, adore, but also expect. We also strive to be phenomenal. Our relationships with Parks and Rec, hello, Public Works, Police, Fire, Community Development, and others have only strengthened. We respect and value our city partners, and we do our part to carry our weight. One prime example of this is the cost sharing of all third-party safety costs in our new 10-year contract that was signed in 2023. We want to partner. Without the 100% fee waiver, we will be put in a precarious financial position and will very likely need to pass these increased costs to our community groups. This is something that we all should really hope to avoid. On behalf of the board, I humbly thank you for the 100% fee waiver in years past. Additionally, I'll thank you in advance for approving our continued 100% fee waiver this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana.
Hi, good evening, City Council. Mayor Howarth, I would like to really thank you for making that announcement about sea lions. I spent 3 hours on the beach yesterday with one, and we had a lady petting him. We had a young mother with about 4 little kids. She had one under her arm, and she was taking a picture with her other hand. People just aren't aware that these guys are wild animals, and they can lunge and bite, and they're 3 times faster than us, so you don't want to try to outrun one. And when they have this stemoic acid poisoning, it creates they can get angry, and if they feel threatened, they'll be angry anyway. But if they're sick, they'll be, it's just unpredictable. So we had 31 animals last week, and this week we have 48. 9 of the animals we picked up have passed away. They passed away pretty much right away when we got them, and so we can expect a lot more strandings locally, and we're really looking for volunteers. So if anybody's interested in doing a patrol on the beach and helping us out to warn people and educate people, that would be great. Just call the Marine Mammal Care Center or me, and we'll hook you up. Thank you very much, guys.
Great, thanks, Jackie.
Phone number?
Yeah, no, the Marine Mammal phone number?
Yes.
Yeah.
1-800-39-WHALE.
Yeah, not Jackie's phone number. No, that wouldn't be right. Okay. Yeah, but they do need volunteers. It's a great point. Okay. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Madam Mayor, members of council. I want to acknowledge and thank Director Lee and our Public Works. For those of you who know, I live downtown over the last, couple years or whatever. We've seen as Manhattan Beach Boulevard backs up, you get cars turning on Morningside, zipping through 10th Place, Crest Drive, multiple accidents, lots of near misses. So when I got the flyer that said we're doing fiber optic down from 3rd Street to 11th on Highland, traffic delays, lane closures, flagmen, my first concern is, oh, great, everybody's just going to be hitting Crest, flying through, hitting Bayview, flying through, going to the numbered streets. Reached out to our Public Works Director, along with, I think, our acting community development director, I think Ryan was involved, and just expressed my concerns, and immediately went to staff, figured it out. Hey, lanes aren't going to be closed, but very prompt response. And I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate that.
That's so kind. Thank you. It's important to know that. I appreciate it as a council member. We have a lot of big projects coming up, and residents get really nervous. Like, well, how is the city going to manage this, right? And it's great to hear, and we do want to make it good for our residents, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Scott Yanofsky, longtime resident here in Manhattan Beach. I had the unfortunate situation to go up to Malibu and Pacific Palisades. I also volunteer at the USO and at the National Guard at the Malibu Civic Center. I worked up there a couple of days. And what I, can you put the video on? Okay. So if you look at some of these pictures, I took these while I was going through Pacific Palace. Slow it down.
You're going really fast.
Okay. So, but basically, if you look at it, they said there was valleys and mountains, and most of it is just looks just like Manhattan Beach. No difference. The only difference there from what we have happening over here is those 50-mile-an-hour wind, 100-mile-an-hour winds. That came through there, and there was no way to stop it. So it wasn't the mayor's fault, wasn't the police, wasn't the fire. 100-mile-an-hour winds is unbelievable. I saw damage that I couldn't believe. As far as you can see in every direction, houses burned down. All I saw was chimneys down. The question is, could this happen in Manhattan Beach?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Fire chief probably give us a good answer on something like that. But it's something that I think the city council has to look at. You know, we need to do surveys on the fire hydrants, on the reservoirs here, make sure that everything is set and ready to go for something like this, because, like I said, they had a 100-mile-an-hour wind. They never had that before.
Yeah.
You can see what it looks like there. It just,
Wow.
I was shocked when I saw that. What you see on TV is one thing. When you're out there, it's unbelievable. The ash was so hot, it blew through the windows, the gaskets. Inside the houses, they have asbestos in the ash, and it's just something you can't believe. So please consider what happened there. Think about it. Talk to fire. Maybe they can give you some suggestions on it. But look at all the different things we have in the city that is our protection. And let's pay attention, maybe do a yearly survey, a 2-year survey, and make sure that's all taken care of. Thank you very much.
Point well taken. Yeah, really. And I know that it hasn't even risen up to public level yet, but there is talk of a community emergency preparedness meeting. And at that time, I would hope that, you know, our fine first responders would give us that kind of information. Have we done a survey? Yes, in fact, we have, and here it is. And, you know, being as ready as we can, right? You know, we are not quite a wildland urban interface as those canyons and places are, but we're not immune. So thank you, Scott.
That's the whole thing. It wasn't in the canyons.
Yeah.
It was in the flats.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you. Any other public comments in chambers? Okay, how about online, on the Zoom?
No request on Zoom.
Any of my colleagues? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Yes, sir.
Well, I actually just want to add on to Scott's comment. A couple of weeks ago, we did discuss our, please help me with the acronym, the LC, City Manager?
Okay.
LHMP, Local Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Yes, Local Hazard Mitigation Plan. And there's a complete section on wildfire. And it has gone through our city and analyzed that. So some great tips in there. I don't know about you all, but I'm starting to pay attention to it. The shrubbery, covering the vents, you know, so that ash, you know, so that cinders can't get into the attic and things like that, and getting a go bag and all that. But it really lays it out very well, very detailed, and it's, again, it's specifically with the fire chief and department's help, and everybody is, it really lays it out really clearly.
Yeah.
So really worthwhile to pick up that doc. Where, do we have any printed, or is it all online?
It's online.
It's all online.
But it's multiple pages, is all I'm saying is that. Yeah, if you can print that out and take a look around your homes and see what you can do. Make sure you got the gas turn off. I realized too, my gas turn off handle is gone somewhere, who knows? But really good tips in there. Okay, that's everybody's assignment.
Or they could also take a, you know, CERT class. That's awesome too. All right, moving right along. Thank you. Those are good things to know about. Consent calendar. Let me move to the vote cast. So if anybody wants to pull something, now would be the time. Otherwise, I will take a motion to approve the whole thing at once. It's been moved by Councilmember Franklin and seconded by Steve Sherillian. All right, call for the question.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. All right, there are no items removed and no public hearings, so we're going to move on to general business. And this is item number 10, which is a consideration of approving fee waivers associated with legacy special events for fiscal years 2026, 2030. And Director Lehman, nice to see you again.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Mark Lehman, your Parks and Recreation Director. Linda Robb, Senior Management Analyst. She leads the Special Event Committee, and she will be presenting this item.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Linda Robb. I'm Senior Management Analyst for the Parks and Recreation Department. Let me see if I can work this. Okay. The item you have before you is the consideration of fee waivers for legacy events. For a little background on it, the City Council has granted fee waivers for many years to help subsidize events that are beneficial to the community, are dear to residents, and are part of the city's traditions. If the city were to take on the planning and execution of any of these events, the cost to the city for each event would be far greater than what we're proposing here in waivers. Prior to 2015, these fee waivers were considered on an annual basis, and since 2015, fee waivers have been approved in 5-year increments. In 2017, the Hometown Fair was granted a 100% fee waiver. Previous to that, they were at 75%. In 2020, fee waivers were approved for fiscal years 2021 through 2025, with the condition that events estimated to cost more than 10% above the previous year were to be brought back to council for review. And also at that meeting, the North Manhattan Beach Holiday Stroll was added to the list of legacy events with a 100% fee waiver. The Tour de Pier was granted legacy status with a 100% fee waiver in 2023. Since the issuance of the staff report, originally staff has identified a fee that was inadvertently omitted from the fee waiver summary. It's $349 associated with the labor to install the Catalina Classic banner, street banner that was originally approved in 2023, and we're looking to continue that with this fee waiver up tonight. The updated presentation has been made available online for the public. Hard to read, especially for me without my glasses up there. A summary of the estimated costs reported by each department appears in your packet with the request to waive, with the addition of the $349, $491,054 in city services and third-party costs, and that's approximately $76,000 in third-party costs, that includes the Catalina Classic banner. Staff costs are based on fiscal year 2025 fully burdened rates adopted by the City Council in the resolution of fees and include all staff time devoted exclusively to the preparation for and execution of the events. The staffing costs to provide these services are budgeted within each department. Parking rates used to calculate were $2.50 per hour for beach lots and $2 per hour for the city lots and street meters. The breakdown of cost by department is also included in your packet. Fee waivers apply to city services only, with the exception of the Hometown Fair, holiday fireworks, and the MB10K. There are 3 events that currently have a 75% fee waiver. Those events are the American Martyrs 5K, the Manhattan Beach Grand Prix, and the American Martyrs Parish Fair. 5 events have been granted a 100% fee waiver. The Little League Parade, Grandview Gator Run, Tour de Pier, the Manhattan Beach Education Foundation Wine Auction, and the North Manhattan Beach Holiday Stroll. 3 events have been granted a 100% fee waiver plus a cap on third-party costs. That would be the Hometown Fair. Their current cap is $10,609. There's a CPI increase built into their 10-year agreement, which began at $10,000 cap. The holiday fireworks for $10,000 and the MB10K at $6,000. The Catalina Classic has been granted a fee waiver for their street banner fee. Tonight, staff is seeking direction on to continue to offer the caps for the public safety expenses for the MB10K and holiday fireworks. And 2, if the City Council would like to retain the 10% trigger for additional fee waiver review, or have us return to council review if the event operator requests additional city services to change or expand an event. And we're seeking approval for the proposed fee waivers, including the Catalina Classic. This concludes my presentation.
Okay. All right, yeah, stay nearby.
I had the wrong slide up for my recommendations. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Linda. So, colleagues, does anyone have, oh, golly, hold on. Does anyone have questions for Linda, for staff? Mayor Pro Tem.
Linda, I have one. I engaged in an exchange with Director Lehman about the criteria that council uses or can use to reevaluate the fee waiver. Because presently now, it's just indicated in your presentation, the fees are waived for 5-year periods. That was set in 2015, correct?
Correct.
But if council wanted to develop additional criteria to evaluate whether or not there should be some potential change in any of these fee waivers, what criteria could we look to? What do other cities do in terms of reevaluating some of their waivers? What metrics could we come up with? Let me let you respond.
Well, the metrics would be kind of your decision. What would you like to look at as far as how to determine whether or not an event should have a waiver? We found that most cities look at events individually, and some do them annually and require a fairly lengthy application process. And so I think that, as staff, we'll implement whatever policy you want to come up with. But if you are considering changing anything moving forward, that you at least approve them through 2026 to give the organizations time to work things into their budgets.
Do you have some things you'd like to talk about? I mean, this would be a good time to do that.
Among the criteria or issues that were raised by one resident that wrote in to council members had to do with the number of participants who reside in our community, impacts on adjacent property owners, use of public streets, perhaps and they're being blocked. I presume those are all criteria that council, in our discussion, could explore or direct staff to come back with.
Correct. You
Great.
can, the policy is yours, so it's, we will implement whatever you.
Thank you. And I see Councilmember Sherillian.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Linda, for the presentation. Is there a metric or a table that shows the escalation of the fee waivers over the last couple of years? Like, I'm looking at 490 now based on the waiver percentages. Do we know off the top of your head, or is it somewhere in here that?
I'm sorry, it's not in the report. It is something that I can prepare and get to you.
Thank you.
Yes, based on actual costs.
Okay. I mean, there are new ones in here, right? I mean, the North MB Holiday Stroll, I think the Catalina Classic is fairly new, very inexpensive. Tour de Pier's fairly new, right?
Yes.
So there have been new ones, granted. And, other metrics, well, anyway, are there more questions? Because before I open it up to the public again. Yep, go for it.
Okay.
You don't have to press the button.
In the staff report, it says security costs may be reduced or eliminated by utilizing volunteers, but many of the event organizers have expressed difficulty in securing volunteers for this purpose. Does the city provide any sort of help in that, not actually going out and recruiting the volunteers, but letting them know what is involved with volunteering for the event and to what extent, and it's going to be fun.
Well, all of these legacy events have been happening for some time, and for example, one of the events, the American Martyrs 5K, does have a good volunteer presence. But some years it's harder for them to get volunteers than others, and so basically what happens is the police department will decide what presence is necessary, and then we let the organizers know what the necessary presence is. And if they can place the volunteers, then we don't have to order the CSC or place officers in those.
So how far in advance does that happen, that they get that notice? Is it 90 days?
So we have a pretty close relationship with all of these organizations and speak throughout the year to many of them. So if they're running into issues, and a lot of the staffing levels do not change a lot from year to year unless there's some sort of extra threat or something, something unusual that happens. Otherwise, the staffing and the placement of staff is pretty much the same every year. And so it's easy for organizations to plan where they might put volunteers. But we do have, the month before the event, a meeting of the Special Events Committee where we have all the departments there to discuss all the logistics of the event.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Let's have some public comments. I know, Dan, you've already spoken, so we know you can't. You had your 3 minutes. Yeah.
Get that guy to do it.
Yeah, can he answer the question? You come up and answer the question if you want. Come up and answer the question if you want. All right, don't worry about it. Don't worry. We're good. You're good. Selling past the close? No. All right, is there anyone online?
No request on Zoom.
Okay, I'll close public comment. So I don't have any problem. We've been doing this, like, we've been on the council where we've been in 2017 and 2018. I think it's great that we are planning ahead. It makes it easier to budget. I think one of the criteria, I don't think we have set criteria. We don't, these are all over the place. You have school events, right? You have fundraisers that benefit, a school or an organization, which is great. The Tour de Peer is a great thing. It's a fundraiser, right? Something like holiday fireworks is just an amazing event for people. We love it. But, the North Manhattan Holiday Stroll, we supplement, but we don't do the downtown holiday open house, right? That doesn't have a fee waiver on here, correct? Is that, Linda, do you want to?
That one is considered a city event because we do it in conjunction with the pier lighting.
Great. I'm glad, because otherwise I was going to say that doesn't sound, and they didn't put me up to this. Jill Lampkin is not in the audience, so that's good. But so that they're all over the place, and I'm okay with that because we should have the flexibility to do that. And these are events that people look forward to and I like. So I just want to make that comment. If anybody else has any comments or would like to make a motion, Councilwoman Tournier.
Thank you. So in looking at all these events, I think it's important that, as a city, we help subsidize events that bring people together, and it really covers a lot of different subsets of people, from the schools to athletes to raising, to the MBF wine auction, raising funds for our schools, for the surfers, for the paddlers, for the Catalina Classic. So to me, I think all these events are great unifying city events. So I support them, and I think that it's important for us to subsidize where we can. And then not only that, but I think a lot of these events bring visitors, bring tourist dollars. And so sometimes the criteria don't capture all of those metrics. But for me, I think these are important events.
Yeah, and you have the 10K run, which raises, what have they done, over $1 million since they've been in existence, have given back to the city in terms of equipment, parks and rec stuff. So it's wonderful. Councilmember Shrillian.
Yeah, thank you. I want to just kind of echo some of what Mayor Pro Tem indicated previously with the comment. I guess for me, it just, looking at these items, yes, it does bring the community together, some more than others, and some donate to the city more than others. But the question kind of lies, like, how does it benefit the city? Do all of these events benefit specific? If there's a criteria of a specific percentage of the city, or is it just one area? And what are the impacts? And I guess, another question would be is, would we approve some of these events now if they came up? I guess that's just for dialogue. Would we do that?
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Lesser.
I have no interest in denying the fee waivers as they are presented to us tonight for at least 1 year or 2 years. But what causes me some concern in the broad picture is the growing cost that the city is absorbing and how we allow other events to potentially qualify for fee waivers going forward. To the extent that we have legacy events, many of which absolutely serve our community and build the capacity that was just referenced by my Councilmember Tarnay, we want to encourage that. We want to support that. It's a good use of our public dollars. But I think what got me thinking a little bit more seriously, particularly having been on council with the mayor, as she just referenced 10 years ago when we adopted this 5-year schedule, is we don't want to be reviewing these every year.
Right.
But should there be some additional criteria to evaluate the ongoing value to our community of some of these events, number of participants, as was mentioned earlier, that are residents, impact on our community, streets and residents who live adjacent, for how long, and any other criteria that might be relevant. So what I might propose as a way to move this forward is perhaps we approve these fee waivers for a minimum of 1 year or maybe 2, and then give staff an opportunity or make a request that when this does come back, to provide us with some options of what criteria we might want to consider, certainly what other cities are considering, because ultimately this is a policy decision.
Make a motion.
So that would be my motion.
Because I support that. Councilmember Franklin?
Yes, so echo everything, that I heard here. The reason I asked the question about volunteers, and I know how difficult it is, okay? You take teenagers, for example, today from even 10 years ago. There's just so much they're doing. They're doing a lot of work in order to get ready to apply for colleges and things like that. So, but I just didn't want it to fall completely upon city resources if a volunteer could be recruited and do that job. So, but actually, I'm not concerned about it. I just want it to just echo here is that don't take your foot off the pedal in terms of getting volunteers and recruiting volunteers. Volunteers have done incredible work. We see them all over the place at all these events. And so, and it is a good step, for someone building a resume to apply for either work after school or, higher education after school. I don't have a concern about it. I agree with Mayor Pro Tem Lesser, and that's why I seconded the motion.
Great. And I'll just say, I think, yes, thank you for making it 2 years because we want groups to, have a plan for 2 years. But I do think it's fair to look at them. I think there's some on here we agree are absolutely city legacy events. We're not going to, I don't have to talk about it now, but there are some events on here that are absolutely, but it just, when it grows by bit, as Councilmember Shirley pointed out, that's just something we got to keep an eye on. So let's just look at, I think what would be helpful is some sort of report that comes back that shows all the different ones that we do and how long have we been doing it and over the years. And by the way, did they have the opening parade this year for Little League? No. Yeah, they didn't even have that. It wasn't on there, so they didn't get the fee waiver. But we gave a fee waiver. I want that thing back. That's the best thing ever. So, right? That Little League parade.
I want the parade back.
I want a parade. I like parades. Anyway, okay, call for the question. What? Oops,
We
I
just
see
have
questions.
a response for Councilmember Shirley.
Okay. Ooh. Yes.
The parade will be coming back. I wanted to share that.
Seriously, it is?
It will be, yes.
Yeah, okay,
yes.
great.
But regarding the costs, I apologize. The costs in 2020 were $337. And some of those cost escalation, again, over time, there's also been a change in how we've accounted for a lot of those costs. And so Now we are accounting for leading up to the event, what
Good.
staff work is needed, not necessarily just the day of, and so that is a change of practice as well.
Thank you.
That's terrific. I mean, some of the things are new since 2020, but that makes sense because I see all the work that you guys do to make this happen. So,
Mayor
yeah.
Pro Tem Lester, can I just confirm that your motion is to approve as amended to include the Catalina Classic, which wasn't in the original stuff?
Thank you for seeking clarification.
and for 2 years.
It includes that authorization.
Do we know what we're voting on? Okay. Let's call for the question.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
And thank you all.
Yes.
That makes
Looking forward to the fair. Okay. Okay, so let me open up my book here. So item 11 is the review of the boards and commissions interview process.
Thank you.
Yeah, so take it
Honorable
away,
Mayor,
City
members
Clerk's
of the City
office.
Council, thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Deputy City Clerk Brianna Contreras.
Hello, Brianna.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. Brianna Contreras, Deputy City Clerk. I appreciate the opportunity today to present to you on the annual boards and commissions interview process. As directed by the City Council at the February 4th meeting, City Council directed staff to return with options regarding the annual boards and commissions interviews, and as outlined in the staff report, staff has provided an overview of the historic interview methods used by previous City Councils. The three primary interview methods historically used are as follows. The first one is virtual interviews, which is the current process. Since 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, interviews have been conducted virtually. This has allowed candidates to introduce themselves online via Zoom. The second option is a speed-style interviews. These interviews are held in the police fire conference room. These interviews are short, structured in-person interviews with individual City Council members, allowing for direct interaction. And 3, in-person interviews at a City Council meeting. The City Council interviews candidates in the City Council chambers. Candidates interview individually, followed by a structured Q&A with the full City Council. In addition, staff has reached out to the League of California Cities City Clerks Listserv Group, and 11 agencies provided insights into their respective interview process. At this time, staff seeks City Council direction on the preferred interview method moving forward. Thank you for your time and consideration. I welcome your feedback, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you so much, Brianna. And I have to say, so often, we want information on what do other cities do, and it was so helpful and interesting to see all these 11 cities and what they do, because they're all very different and pretty different from what we do. I had really wanted this to come forward because I remember back in my day when we did what we called speed-style interviews, where everyone, who wanted to be on a commission, every council member got to speak to them all. And then during COVID, switched to a different method. So first of all, I should ask my colleagues, first of all, we should ask their questions. So, and I should mention right now that Councilmember Lesser's vote screen is frozen. So
Some might consider that a good thing, by the way.
I'm not, don't you say that, let other people put you down. So if we could have some technical help down there, that would be great. But, so are there questions? I see Councilmember Franklin, and then take it away.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brianna, and thanks for putting in that work, too, with talking to the other cities. That is valuable. This is starting my 4th year on council, or 5th year on council, and I can't believe the growth of the applicants, because when I met you, Mayor Pro Tem Lesser, and I forget who else was on the council then, we did the speed dating.
You forgot me?
Were you there too?
Yeah. Okay. No one ever forgets me. I don't believe it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We all remembered you. But as an applicant, I felt that I got a really good hearing. So but basically my question is, because it relates to the time, that it's going to take. what did we have this last round? 40-something?
40-something.
Was it 41?
41? Okay, could we just go on a baseline of 40 applicants? Let's say we have 40 applicants. We know the virtual interviews, what did that take?
2 minutes.
No, but overall, did it take about 2 hours? They had 2
So,
minutes?
Councilmember Franklin, if I could just clarify, the 40 applicants was to fill one seat. It was a unexpected vacancy. The annual boards and commissions range between 60 to 80 applicants.
60 to 80, yeah, that's right. Thank you for that
Right.
clarification. That's the number I want.
And you take that times 5 times 2.
Right. So, well, no, you got to take the, you got to divide it by 5, right?
Well, I would multiply.
Or divide it, how many minutes? It's going to be 2 minutes?
We allow 5 applicants for 15-minute intervals.
Yeah, so 5 into 80. Steve, can you help us out here?
15.
It's 15.
I'm looking at
Goes
Libby.
into 80, 60, 4, 5, 6.
So 15
6 times, yeah.
times,
6 times 5, yeah.
times 2 minutes.
6 times 15.
That's a lot, that's a long time.
It's a lot of minutes.
Let's just say it's a lot of
Right.
minutes.
Okay, and so even though I'm talking, I am asking a question here, so we're going through the answer. So the speed style,
I think your point is that when we have so many applicants, it takes so much more time.
Right.
But you said as an applicant, you thought it was a
Right.
good, yeah.
but I'm just getting to see, I just want to get a relative amount of time it's going to take for each one of these options, given that we're going to have between 60 and 80 applicants. So
Okay, so where's my,
virtual interviews, we know, will be 2 minutes each. And that you guys, you all did a great job,
But
really
it's-
moving that along.
but it was, remember it was, I'm sorry, is this okay if we dialogue? I don't,
Well, I'm just asking questions, in terms of,
because it was
Girls
more
and-
than 2 minutes per, because you had 2 minutes per, and then there was some time in between each one,
Right.
right? And, okay,
yeah, so figure 3,
yeah,
3 or
so
4.
3 minutes, I mean, it's an hour and a half to 2 hours, or 2 hours to 2.5 hours for 60.
4 hours.
Yeah,
4 hours for 80.
4 hours for 80
At 3 minutes.
at 3 minutes.
Yeah, for the virtual.
For just, yeah. We could, well, go ahead, do you have more let's,
Well, just interviews at a city council meeting, separate meeting for the interviews. Applicants take turns approaching the podium, so that's going to take a while as well. That's
well,
my-
I think the issue, let's do more questions and we'll do dialogue, because I have some thoughts on
Okay,
that.
sure.
But
Well, no,
you're right, there's a lot of
So do
time.
I have, on the qualitative, I have. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think of quantitative here.
Yeah.
Realistically. And then speech style, that
Yep.
would be 5 in each, let's say that's a 3-minute clump. So take 80 divided by 5 is 15 times 3 minutes each, 15 times 3, 45 minutes? It
No, that
seems like
can't be
we're-
right.
Yeah, it can't be right.
No, because
I can't
you
follow
have to
that.
multiply, not divide,
Yeah.
because they come to us one at a time. So they go through 5 people,
Right,
3, anyway.
yeah.
So
Each
so
group
it
of
was
5
budgeted 15 minutes for 5
For
applicants.
5 applicants, right. So,
So that's 3 minutes per applicant.
Right.
So it
So
boils down to
15
the
minutes.
4 hours for 80.
15 minutes for 5 applicants, and out of 80, there'd be, how many groups of 5? There's going to be 15.
15, so 4 hours.
Yeah,
4 hours
4 hours.
for 80.
Okay, great. That was my question.
Okay, I appreciate it. And I appreciate quantitative versus qualitative. It's all time, people. It's all time, and it's all ticking away. Councilwoman Tarnay? Sorry.
Do we know roughly how many seats will be open in this next cycle?
Yes, of course. So there's 6 member at large and 3 student representative seats.
One thing I was considering, just because I have children going through kind of graduate school process and their friends, and maybe doing a hybrid where people submit resumes and we take the top 10 per or the top 5 per. I don't know if that's, a way to kind of make sure that everyone gets considered, but then really focus on the people that the top 5, whatever, or 6, whatever number we settle on. But again, I think it depends on how many people we get, and we want to make sure, we don't want to discourage people from applying, but also for time's sake, if we have a huge pool of applicant like that we amazingly had last time, I can see this taking.
So before we discuss the particulars, let's remember questions, because we still need public comments. I have thoughts, but Councilman, or Mayor Pro Tem Lesser.
May I ask the city clerk, Councilmember Franklin's question in another way, and that is, can you refresh my recollection? We used to do speed interviews, and was it 4 hours? Is that how much we
It was,
took
yes.
for a typical batch of interview submissions, excuse me, resume submissions?
To also allow some extra time for you to take notes in between each round, breaks.
Great, and that stopped around the time of the pandemic.
When the pandemic hit, we went straight to virtual.
Great, thank you. That's it.
Okay, great. And I, Councilwoman Tornay, we'll talk about the idea after, I just want to get questions and other questions for staff. Okay, let's go. Is there any public comment? Anyone in here have ideas? Okay, how about online?
No request on Zoom.
Okay, I'm going to close public comment. So, I'm going to start us off a little bit. I appreciate, Joe, again, you bifurcated it into qualitative and quantitative, but we did set aside like a full evening that, for 4 hours with speed dating. And I had, wanted to bring this back because I felt that I got so much more from talking to the people, that I got to know them a little better, not know them better, but I got to ask questions and I got to, for the public who hasn't been through this before, what we've been doing in the past few rounds is it's a Zoom interview. So each candidate has a 2-minute, basically, amount of time, presents to the council, and we say, thank you very much, next. So we don't do any follow-up with them. We don't, any questions or anything like that. And and listen, we've had fantastic people. So I had said, I was kind of interested in maybe going back to a thing where we could talk a little bit. It does take a lot of time. And Mr. City Attorney, I have a question regarding Councilman Tornay's idea. If to call the resumes, so we get all these resumes in, would we have to have a subcommittee for that, or would we even be able to do that? Is there some transparency concern there?
Yeah, I was thinking about that because it would be a subcommittee of just 2 council members could go through the resumes and then make their recommendations.
Okay. So we would have a subcommittee of 2 and then present. We would still have to figure out, are we going to interview or do the virtual? So something to, maybe it's a 2-parter. So does anybody have, I kind of would like to go back to the speed dating, but I'm really open. Council Member Franklin.
Okay, sure. It's such a great process, and what do we tell people, when they say, how do you get on council? Go out for a commission. And it's really important that they get feedback, that they see you face to face. And, I think I applied once or twice, and I distinctly remember having the conversation with Mayor Pro Tem. In fact, you're the reason I'm here, isn't it? But it was impactful. We tend to look at the time commitment because it is important. But I think it's vastly important to the applicants. I mean,
to speak back and forth, right? I didn't understand what you're saying.
Well, to go through the interview process and be face to face with a council member. They're going to remember it. They're going to learn from it. I liked one of the emails that came in said, hey, you didn't pick me. Why? What is it that I can do to make myself, to improve, to maybe do better next time? So I would like to possibly, council member's choice, of contacting people. I don't like the idea of culling because, they're all such great people. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I was, I had to do different grades of A for the rounds that I've been involved with. They're all terrific people doing what we asked them to do, which is to get involved with council, and this is a great entryway to that. So I also am for, the speed style
Yeah, I
interviews.
just thought the speed dating, but yeah.
And we'll just, we'll just have to work on our breaks or things like that and speed
Cookies,
along. I
candy.
mean, to get 90 or 60 to 80 applicants is just stunning. And each one of them, I value because I see the steps that what it meant to me and the steps that I took, to do more for the city.
Thank you. I appreciate that you said that people learn, that you learned from it as well, because I've had people say that to me too, and I think that's interesting. Councilmember Sherillian?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and thank you for bringing this item forward. And I would like to see it back in person. I would like to go through all the applicants because, they're volunteers and they're putting in the time and effort and they deserve that time in front of us. And that's all I got.
Okay.
I, too, appreciate the mayor bringing this forward. It has been an impersonal process, necessitated particularly with the pandemic, where it would be just a one-way presentation by applicants. But particularly hearing the impact of the in-person contact that I had with one former commissioner, how can I not be swayed to put in the time to meet in person? So I'm in favor of moving forward with going back to
someone make a
in-person
motion?
speed interviews.
I will. I will make a motion to provide direction to staff to re-implement the speed style type interviews for board and commission interviews.
Well, then
starting
press
with the next batch. Right?
Press the button. Okay.
There we go.
And Councilwoman Tarnay, did you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay, all right, excellent.
a
And
good idea.
before we
No,
vote,
that's good.
will you let all the people who have already applied know that it will be in person?
Absolutely.
So they can plan around their schedules, and then anyone else. But I think we're holding the applications we got, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, so please inform me, it will be a very different process.
We'll definitely do the outreach.
Okay, all right. Call for the question. Wow,
Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0.
wonderful. I'm happy. I think this is a very human thing to do. Okay, item number 12. Consideration of a resolution approving an agreement for prosecutorial services on an as-needed basis. City Manager Tully Mertz-Cunningham and City Attorney Barrow.
Yes, I can, I'll take the staff report. So
Where are you going to take it?
Right.
Sorry.
You want me to answer that question? Okay, so periodically, the city council has been looking at the best ways to prosecute municipal code violations. And ever since Richard Watson has been here, we made a big push to get everything handled on the administrative level without attorneys. And that's still our goal. But on occasion, we get some people who continue to violate the law, our municipal code, and either avoid the administrative citations or we have to go through a appeal process and then go to the Superior Court. We've had some cases that have gone all the way to the Superior Court, and it's costly and not very cost-effective or efficient. And so we're recommending that the council return to its formal process that they used to have for many years, where we have an outside firm, a special counsel, perform prosecutorial services. And the firm that we recommend, both the city manager and I have had experience with this firm. And if you looked at their proposal, you could see the people that you know who have recommended this firm, including the Beverly Hills, the city attorney from Beverly Hills, and other firms. Bill Lidvack is here in the audience. If you want him to come on up, ask him questions, he's available.
Okay. All right. Councilmember Lesser, or I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem.
Gwen, can you describe what prosecutorial services means for the lay public? We're talking code enforcement, perhaps. I mean, give some specific examples of what this might mean.
It's so typically through the years, it's like dogs on the beach. It's any municipal code violation, sometimes short-term rentals, and it ranges from, e-bikes. We've had some cases where the city's issued administrative citations and they've been challenged. And we've had situations where people continue to violate the code. And so that's where you need prosecution.
Can you clarify what the difference is from a city prosecution to one that would, for either a misdemeanor or infraction, be referred to the LA County District Attorney?
Yes, state misdemeanors, like the most common crimes that people are familiar with, can only be prosecuted by the LADA or by a charter city attorney. And as you know, the city sponsored a bill last year to change that, but that bill failed. And so I think based on the last election, we'll have more success on those state misdemeanors, like shoplifting, other types of misdemeanors, which are not violations of our code, but they're violations of the state law.
So this service would supplement the services provided by your law firm, Richard Watkins and Gershon. What metrics should we as a council use to judge its success after let's presume that council's in favor of moving forward and wants to then review this contract after a period of years? How can we deem whether it's been a success or worth the added expense?
Yeah, and it's a good question. Built into the staff report, and it would be part of the agreement, that there'll be this quarterly review. And we'll have some numbers on the number of cases that have been prosecuted, and we'll also have the cost. I think the firm has demonstrated in the past for some of our other clients that they're very efficient. But I think, in 4 months or 3 months, you'll be able to see some numbers and kind of have a comparison on what the cost will be.
Finally, just the decision as to when to utilize the firm versus continuing to proceed down the administrative side. Who makes the decision? How do you make the decision? What goes into the decision?
Yes, and so the city manager and the city attorney will confer on that, oftentimes conferring with the police chief on some of these violations. And it really is on a case-by-case basis. I mean, I can go back and think of some of the cases where it would have been great to have that city prosecutor enforce our municipal code. And once again, the cost is a factor too. But, sometimes we have these cases, and I don't want to mention any names of people that have appeared before the council and complained about traffic citations or e-bike citations. But it gets to a point where if you want to get compliance, you have to go through the criminal process.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Franklin.
Yes, thank you. So City Attorney Barrow, how would this relate to violations of city ordinances with regards to camping on public spaces and the like?
Yeah, so the violations in our municipal code, we have an anti-camping ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
And if it reaches the point where you're not getting compliance, this will be one of our the tools in the shed. Oftentimes, administrative citations will not be effective in that case. And so if you have someone who continues to violate the city ordinance, that's when you bring in prosecution.
Okay, so, you know, Nathan Hockman, when he ran, he talked about a hard middle, you know, is that when the cases come to him, that there's going to be, you know, if the, you know, with regards to homeless, well, actually any violator, but I spoke to him particularly about homelessness, you know, type of situations, is that the hard middle, meaning that, you know, they're going to provide two options, diversion or jail. But I don't think we would have the option of compelling them to go to jail, right? Or even diversion.
Well, yeah, it's a
Given
very...
their situation, because we want them in diversion. We want them
Right.
to get the services. They're resistant to them. We know individuals. We've had experience like that. So I'm just trying to see how it might help in that situation. I see the value in other situations.
Yeah. You know, and you raise a good point. I mean, we've had I'm not sure what her title is, but we've been very successful in Manhattan Beach without going to prosecution on that issue. And that's still the best approach. And so I view prosecution as a last resort.
Right. Okay. And then if they do get these violations and charged for that, that's where it's important to have, if they want to get off the streets and the like, and they could go to a homeless court like we see in Redondo Beach. But can we then refer them?
Well, we've tried that in the past. I don't know. And I just read, I don't know if you looked at that in the paper or saw that. I just saw that maybe LA is closing down their homeless court.
Yeah.
Maybe you saw that. I think it was in the Daily Breeze or the LA Times.
Was it the homeless court or the care for the
Not
mental?
the care. I think I didn't read the entire article. I saw the title and I was thinking it was the one at the airport.
Oh, yeah, well,
don't
there
know.
was supposed to be one there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Sherillian.
Quick question. I guess for me, that this is a good thing. I like the fact that we're doing this. I would like to, I don't like things that are written in the sense of the cost. I'd like to see some type of, I understand there's going to be a quarterly review, but where is this going to be charged? Where's going to be the line item? And, you know, on a needed basis, that's a good term, but that to me is just dollar signs, and I just would like to know how much.
Yes, and two things about that. In their proposal, they did have hourly rates, but also in talking to Mr. Litvak, he has given us a reduction in that rate, and it will be less than what Richards Watson was charging for the same services. And so, you know, it's very difficult to do a budget on this. I mean, we have a budget for prosecution, but I think that's going to have to be modified this year. And so that's why the quarterly review is very important, because as we stand here today, we don't know how often we'll be doing prosecution instead of going through the administrative citation process. We can give you the hourly rates.
Just to add to that, the process that in which we determine if something goes through prosecution or not is not going to change. It's just going to be prosecuted by a different firm that has similar cost. So we would have paid that cost to RWG is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it is budget neutral at this point.
Okay.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, any more questions from my colleagues? Did you have another one, Councilmember
Yes.
Franklin? Okay.
I would just like to have, Mr. Litvak have the opportunity to come up and just say hello and give us a short little introduction to you.
First of all, it's very nice to see such a happy and friendly city council meeting. And I certainly appreciate the amount of time that you don't spend here. I've been in council meetings over the years that lasted till 12 o'clock, and this is This is much better, needless to say.
You picked a good night.
Yeah, it's a light night, but we do try to be congenial.
I think the important part is to understand why we exist and what our goals are for the city. Ours is not to make policy. We take a very pragmatic, professional approach to it. We enforce policy that you create. How you use us is dependent upon what it is that you want to accomplish, and also the unique circumstances of every city. Beverly Hills is not like Westlake Village. Each has their own issues and problems. In a beach community, I can already understand how they will differ than from a valley community. We represent a lot of different socioeconomic spheres as well as physical locations. But by and large, we offer you a buffet of options. And as Quinn has indicated, we specialize in this, and we've been doing this a very long time. In some cities that are very active in the criminal prosecutions, we have our own days in court. So consequently, Quinn may send a lawyer once in a while. We'll send one lawyer, and he'll spend all day there and do multiple cities and multiple cases at a time. And we have direct relationships with most of the criminal courts, so they know who we are and they communicate. People don't know that sometimes you get, particularly on transients, you get bench warrants issued because they don't show up, and then they do show up, and then you have to send somebody down. So we have all of those connections with those clerks. But, you know, we take a position that code enforcement has to have public support. Because at the end of the day, our singular purpose is to improve the quality of life, or to maintain the quality of life for the community. And I know it's been said, and I apologize if it's cliche, but the broken window theory, in our experience, has been 100% validated. In some communities that have bigger issues, we come in, we have a tremendous amount of work, but then it dissipates, because what we've done is we've created a program that the public respects. It's fair, it's honorable, it's polite. There's no attempt to get the constituents in some fashion. Our goal is always voluntary compliance. The administrative sites were developed originally just for that purpose, and they work to a certain degree in a certain environment. Okay. But we offer remedies such as receiverships, civil litigation. We have a very aggressive appellate program. We've gotten some cases that have been seminal in terms of giving powers to the cities. We've gone to the Supreme Court on city-related issues. So we're tuned in very much to giving you the choice of remedies. What I expect is going to happen is I'm going to get a call from the city manager or the city attorney saying, we've got this problem. I'm not going to get a call necessarily on an administrative citation, because that would have already been issued in the street. But the question is, as Quinn has indicated, sometimes they're just not they're not effective on transients. Right. And you may want to have that option of, you know, and frankly, I think the park issues are very important. I don't think people feel very safe when you have inappropriate behavior in the parks. Yep. And on those, I think the PD has to be willing to cite those people and put them into the criminal system. And by the way, you don't have to worry about people going to jail. Very few people go to jail on any kind of misdemeanor. What we always do is we've already tried to get social services to them. That's what the police department would generally do. But if you get them into the program, they tend to leave your community because they don't want to be picked up and brought in. And finally, in terms of solutions, we also help each program. So to the extent that we're asked, we assist in structuring code enforcement programs. We work with your code enforcement officers. We educate and we teach. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with SCASIO, but we've been a member of SCASIO for a very long time. We actually helped create it many, many years ago. but I know I'm taking up your valuable time, and I'm going to make you run long.
No, it's
but
good.
as you
You're helping my pool. You're helping my betting pool.
I'm trying to stay under it. So I'm happy to talk with you at any time and come in and discuss what we can offer to you in the long run.
Great.
But we're also sensitive about budgets. And one of the things that we do is we believe that we can do things very efficiently. And we want to save those dollars for the most significant cases. Because there's always a tip of the spear. There's always one case that sucks out your budget. And you can be really efficient 99% of the time, and 90% of your budget, or the old 80-20 rule, 20% of your cases are going to eat up 80% of your budget. And we want to make sure that when that happens, we haven't blown through the goodwill budget that we have with you guys. Anyway, I apologize for going long.
No, it's very helpful. Thank you, Councilmember, for calling him up.
Thanks very much.
Does anyone have a question for him? No. Okay, thank you, Mr. Litvak. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience? Mr. Burton?
Yes, ma'am. Council, I think you need this. And the administrative process, I know our city attorney, they've gone through a whole bunch of things. But we've got more people here. There is a massive intensification of use, particularly downtown. I've got, U.S. Bank is closed. It's turned into a big smoking lot. And I don't know that if you walked over there and told them to quit smoking, maybe they will, maybe some won't. But at some point, this town is getting bigger, more people. Napolitano always said, more people, more problems. And that at some point, to have the stick, if people aren't following the rules, at some point, if you've got multiple offenders, I don't think everybody needs to go to jail. I appreciate nobody goes to jail anymore. But at some point, if the administrative process isn't working, have a criminal process that could work. And I think what you will see is deterrent, and people will follow the rules. We have a lot more people than we've ever had before. It's getting more and more and more and more, and you need a stick. And I don't know, I'm a little bothered. I think Councilmember Shrillian, great question on cost. I'm a little bothered at the nebulousness, but I know it's a legal thing. You probably can't get into it, but there just seems like there's a big pot of money. I don't know how it's going to work out. Cost is important, but I think you need this.
You had me till you quoted Napolitano.
Well, unfortunately, that's going to happen for a long time.
That name keeps coming up.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other comments in chamber on this topic? Any other public comments? Okay, how about on Zoom?
We do. We have Rita Crabtree.
Oh, great. Hi, Rita.
Good evening, Rita Crabtree Kampa. I just wanted to ditto Jim's comments. I think more people, more issues, and we have just a broader need for something like this, the stick. So I don't need to go on. I don't want to increase anybody's time tonight. I just want to say that I think it's really important that we have this in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita, and thank you for all the work you do. Okay, any other comments on Zoom?
Heather Kim.
All right. Hi, Heather.
I can't hear you. Hi. Yeah, I think we definitely need some prosecutorial services in our town, and I think it should be used, fairly. Living here for over 20 years, I've seen all sorts of people, and one thing I have noticed is there's such a huge sense of entitlement that I've seen a lot more and more increase, and maybe that'll change with people being actually prosecuted for things that before we just didn't have the manpower to do, or it wasn't on anyone's radar to really enforce. We had a lot of big issues going on. But, it's the same thing with the homeless and the anti-camping. If we don't prosecute to the fullest, then people will just see all of these rules and laws as a joke. And it makes it hard for law-abiding citizens who are victimized. It makes it hard for business owners who have to put up with so much. And this is something that is very needed. And once we get, what's it called? People start to recognize that Manhattan Beach is serious about these things, you're going to see behaviors change. So I'm all for it, and I'm not sure about the cost either, but I'm I think that it will be very much worth it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Heather. Are there any other comments on Zoom?
No additional requests.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to close public comment. I see there's been a motion. Councilwoman Torrance, can you state your motion?
Sure. I move to approve a resolution for an agreement for prosecutorial services on an as-needed basis.
Great. Do we need the resolution number read into the record, or we got? Okay, and that has been seconded by Councilmember Shirelli. And if there's no further discussion,
Motion passes 5-0.
okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Litvak, for sitting through our meeting, and glad you enjoyed it. Available for weddings and bar mitzvahs, too. Okay, so City Council requests and reports, including AB 1234 reports. I have something I've been advised to read. Maybe some of you have other things to say, but this is an update from the Legislative Ad Hoc Committee that Mayor Pro Tem Lesser and I sit on, and wanted to let you all know if something is going on. So last year, a mobile parking payment pilot program was established via Senate Bill 532. And that allows a local authority in the city and county of San Francisco, city of Long Beach, or city of Santa Monica the ability to require payment by a mobile device in a parking payment zone. Manhattan Beach was recently contacted by the California Mobility and Parking Association as they secured a legislator to sponsor AB 1272, which would reopen the pilot program so more cities could join as it's amended. The association requested confirmation from the city to opt in as an authorized pilot location. The subcommittee and staff supported the request, and interest has been confirmed as it conforms with general guidance of the legislative platform and provides the city with potential opportunity to explore other parking payment options. Staff identified that if the bill passes, the city is not obligated to participate in the pilot. It merely provides us with the authority to do so, and City Council would discuss whether or not to establish a mobile device parking meter payment zone at a future public meeting. So it would still come to us. We would not just automatically do this. Let's see, other notes. As you recall from our last meeting, the parking meter and kiosk exploration is a current City Council priority or work plan item. And this conforms with the legislative platform's general guidance and support legislation that supports local control over the administration of local programs. So I just wanted to inform you all of that. Are there any other City Council reports or requests?
Yes.
Oh.
Can I just simply add to what the mayor just said? I understand we cannot talk about this item because it's not on our agenda, but just to explain what the mayor said in more practical terms, it's that there was a deadline by which our city had to indicate whether it was interested in being listed as a potential pilot. It was not going to give us enough time to be able to post the item on the agenda. So as a result, the city has opted in subject to full council approval. And I think it was important that the mayor just gave that report so that the community and our colleagues are aware, so they don't find out about through some outside source. But this will be coming back to council, but there was a time urgency to take action to be considered as a pilot.
And now you know.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Franklin.
Okay, I just got a note that MBTV is muted.
Yes,
for some viewers.
I think after Heather Kim's comment, it went quiet for people.
And then, I'm sorry, I had this all teed up, but along with Councilmember Torrance, we went to the Independent City Association meeting in Santa Barbara. And I got to say, I've been to several conferences, and every item on the agenda with the presentation was just really jam-packed with information and very impactful. I'm trying to pull up the agenda. Sorry. But I just wanted to run down and give you just a quick, I can't find it. Should have been here.
While you look,
Yeah.
I just want to announce to the clerk and everyone that folks can hear us now. Okay.
Okay, great. Let me just give it one more try here.
Miguel, we can hear. Yeah. or they can hear.
Come on. Here it is. Got it. Okay. Subjects
great.
included, but we're not limited to. And we had some familiar presenters as well that we've known for a while, Ronson Shu with the homeless update, the functional zero. We had come on. I think they tried to take it down. But anyway, every single item, you can go to ica.org and see it was very useful. It was well attended, got a lot of great ideas from fellow council members and also subject matter experts there at the meeting. So it was very, very much worthwhile.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think these organizations, you know, it's great that you said that one was really worthwhile. I mean, it's always been useful when I've gone. I've always learned something. And Councilwoman Ternay, I know you were there as well.
Yes, and I think the thing I'm most excited for after attending that is the Olympics and hearing what other cities are doing. So I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about Olympic prep. So thank you for bringing that up.
Great. Anything, that was it for you, right, Joe?
Yes.
There's no any other conferences attended?
So, Mayor, just on that note, we do have the program materials at the city clerk's office.
Great.
If anyone's interested in that. And that's all I need to say.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. That is something that I have done in the past. If I attend something, I will bring in the packet and leave it with the city clerk. They file it so anyone from the public can come in and see it. So that's good. Okay, future agenda items. Does anybody have anything they're trying to get on the agenda? Okay, is there a city manager report tonight?
There is no city manager report tonight. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. City Attorney, how about you?
And so what's your time for your pool?
I'm winning.
Uh-oh, okay. No report tonight.
Okay, excellent, thank you. All right, there is no closed session, so I am going to adjourn to a closed session for Monday, February? March.
Back to the future.
Yeah, Back to the Future. Monday, March 10th at 4:30 here in council chambers.